All right, welcome to our explainer. Today, we're diving into a philosophy of welfare that is probably going to turn everything you think you know completely on its head. This comes from a lecture by Chonggang Zhongbub, and trust me, it's not just a slightly different angle. It's a total reimagining of what it actually means to help someone. So, let's get right into it.
So, let's just start with a big, direct question that really gets to the heart of this whole thing. What if the way we think about welfare, our modern system, is just fundamentally wrong? This lecture argues that it absolutely is, and it offers a pretty radical new way of looking at it.
Okay, so to really grasp how different this new idea is, we first have to talk about the old one. Let's start with what pretty much all of us picture when we hear the term welfare society.
Usually, when that word welfare comes up, we think of a system, right? A safety net for the poor, the sick, the disabled. It's all about giving support to people who are struggling. And this is a huge but, according to the source material we're looking at, this is a massive misunderstanding of the whole concept.
And the source is incredibly blunt about it. This quote is basically a hard reset. It's not just saying, oh, we're a little bit off course. It's saying our entire map is wrong. So if our current idea of welfare is a mistake, then what's the right answer?
So now, let's get into the new definition that this philosophy puts on the table. And this is where things start to get really, really interesting.
Here it is, the big redefinition. A true welfare society isn't about handouts. It's not about what you receive. It's a society where every single person, no matter their situation, can find joy and a sense of purpose in the work they do. It's a shift from a culture of consumption to a culture of contribution.
And this idea applies to everyone, across the board. The person with a disability, the wealthy CEO, the university professor, it doesn't matter. True welfare isn't something you get, it's a state of being you achieve when your work brings you joy.
All right, now we're going to move into a more challenging, maybe even uncomfortable part of this philosophy, its view on simple charity and the damage it can cause.
So the lecture argues that just giving things to people, food, money, whatever, without also teaching them and empowering them to find their own joyful work, well, it doesn't really help. In fact, it argues that it causes deep spiritual harm to both the giver and the receiver. This here really illustrates that dynamic. According to the lecture, the giver starts to develop this sense of superiority, thinking they're doing the great thing. Meanwhile, the receiver is pushed down a path of dependency and servility. It's a really stark critique of the power imbalance baked into traditional charity. And this quote just drives that point home. It's harsh for sure, but the core argument is that a life of just taking, of pure reception, with no contribution or purpose, is spiritually bankrupt. It's a really powerful and uncompromising stand against creating dependency.
So this critique of charity brings up a really tough question. If the goal isn't just to give aid to stop suffering, then what's the purpose of that suffering in the first place? This philosophy has a very, very different take on that.
The lecture asks this question head-on. If their purpose isn't just to be passive recipients of our charity, then what in the world is it?
And the answer it gives is that the person who is struggling is a model. Think of it as a case study or a living example. Their hardship actually has a profound purpose. It's a lesson for the rest of us. They are showing us very clearly a path we should avoid.
So, according to this way of thinking, the most profound way to honor that model, to truly help them, isn't to just give them a handout. It's to study their situation, to learn the lesson they are teaching with their life, and then to apply it to your own life so you don't end up in the same place.
Okay, so this brings us to a whole new definition of what service even means. It's not about going to help in the way we normally think about it. This is a total reversal of the rules we're used to. When you engage with someone who's suffering, you are not there as some superior helper coming to the rescue. No, you are there as a student, and they are the teacher. They are the model who is providing the lesson. And this slide breaks down the three-step process for this new kind of service. First, any gift you bring isn't seen as charity. It's a tuition fee for the valuable lesson you're about to get. It totally reframes the act of giving. Second, your job is to be a student. You observe, you learn, you try to understand the root causes of their struggle. And finally, and this is the most important step, you take that lesson and you apply it to your own life so you don't repeat the same mistakes.
But this philosophy doesn't stop there. It also comes with a pretty serious warning. What happens if you keep visiting these models, but you fail to actually learn anything from them?
And here's that warning. If you witness suffering again and again, but you don't internalize the lesson, you don't change your own behavior, then, according to this philosophy, you're destined to repeat it yourself. It's a stark reminder that just watching from the sidelines isn't enough.
So in the end, this philosophy reframes welfare entirely, turning it into a tool for self-improvement. It's a huge shift in perspective, moving the focus from them over there to us right here. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. What was the last lesson life offered you, and did you have the courage to actually learn it?